Portugal enjoys a high standard of living with low costs, an internationally well-developed healthcare system, and quality educational offerings. The country is ranked for consecutive years as the third safest country in the world, according to the 2019 Global Peace Index. It is also putting considerable resources in attracting entrepreneurs and startups, as well as into renewable energy, supporting the development of green and blue projects. The Portuguese government has introduced a bill proposing the end of the golden visa, citing rising costs of real estate. Experts predict the bill to be presented by the country's parliament by 2023, and for a final vote to be casted within 45 days from that date at the earliest. Until the law is approved by the parliament, then the President of the Portuguese Republic, golden visa applications remain available to new applicants. Portugal's golden visa program offers various alternative routes to a resident permit, all of which can be used to acquire resident permits for an applicant's direct family members, spouse, children, and adult children, parents, and parents-in-law. Real estate. Investors can qualify by spending 500,000 euros on real estate or 350,000 euros on older properties, provided rehabilitation work is performed. A significant percentage of the investors take the 500,000 euro option, with many spending well above the minimum amount in order to find a premium location, home, or a large villa. Investors must pay cash for their property, but there's no requirement that investors live in the property they purchase. Rental apartments, plots, hotels, storages, vineyards, or even commercial real estate investments are all fair game. Co-ownership and multiple properties acquisition are also allowed. If the property is located in a low-density area, there is a minimum amount of investment benefit from a 20% reduction. A low-density area means a region with fewer than 100 inhabitants per square kilometer, or a GDP of less than 75% of the national average. Capital transfers. Investors can qualify by making a capital transfer of 1.5 million euros, either through a simple bank transfer to a Portuguese account or through an equivalent investment in company stocks, shares, and public debt. Other capital transfers, ring-fenced for specific activities, can allow residency to be obtained at a much lower cost. It's possible to qualify with a 500,000 euro transfer to fund scientific or technological research, for instance, or with a 250,000 euro transfer to fund artistic or cultural endeavors. These two options of investment, if made in a low-density area, can benefit of a 20% reduction in the minimum amount of investment required. Investment venture. Capital funds. Investors can qualify by making a capital transfer of 500,000 euro to a Portuguese fund dedicated to the capitalization of companies. All the funds are licensed and managed by certified entities and offer different types of risks and returns based on the investor's profile. Business investment. Portugal offers multiple options for business investors. It's possible to qualify for residency by making business investments that create at least 10 jobs, regardless of the amount invested, or by investing a minimum of 500,000 euros in an enterprise that creates or maintains at least 5 jobs. So far, however, only a handful of people have qualified for visas through job creation. All the investment options can be done under the investor's own name or through a sole company ownership. All the investment options confer a temporary resident permit that can be renewed as long as the investment is maintained. Achieving 5 complete years, the investor and family members qualify for permanent residency or citizenship. During the temporary residency period, investors can live outside Portugal but must spend at least 1 week a year in Portugal to maintain their status during their first year and at least 14 days in the country during subsequent periods of 2 years. Applications are normally processed within 9 months. The Golden Visa program has drawn 4.8 billion euros in the new capital to Portugal since 2012. Holders of a Portuguese resident permit can also work and study in the country without the need of obtaining additional permits. They can spend a minimum of only 7 days per year in a Portuguese territory to remain in status. The Golden Visa is extended to family members, namely children, spouse, and dependent family members. The residency permit is granted for an initial period of 1 year and can be renewed in 2-year periods. Citizenship by investment. Although Portugal doesn't offer a CBI program per se, successful residency applicants can obtain citizenship and a well-regarded European Union passport. After 5 years of holding this residence card, which only demands a minimum stay of 7 days per year in a Portuguese territory, and works as a Schengen visa to allow free travel around Europe. How to apply? The application process is straightforward, especially for the real estate pathway. Applicants are required to request a Portuguese taxpayer number, open a Portuguese bank account, and transfer the necessary investment amounts. Once the purchase of real estate is completed, applicants must submit their application through the Immigration and Border Service online platform. After the online approval, they must then visit Portugal in person to submit the biometric data. The application itself is painless, requiring only basic personal documentation, along with a police background check. If an applicant wants to bring the spouse and children to Portugal, a marriage certificate and birth certificates are needed. Investments in other areas other than real estate are also very appealing, with different documentation and complexity required to demonstrate qualifying investment. After the approval, the residence card can be collected by the investor or his representative. Mobility. Portuguese residency confers the right to live, study, and work in Portugal, as well as a visa-free travel across the European Schengen zone. It doesn't bring any travel benefits outside the European Union. Investors who persevere and gain citizenship can obtain a Portuguese passport, which is among the world's strongest, allowing visa-free travel to 187 countries. For further information, please follow our following videos.